If you want a crash course in Canada and Edmonton's roles in World War I, a visit to the Loyal Edmonton Regiment Museum is a good start. Former Major David Haas is one of their volunteer curators.
From Edmonton, maybe about somewhere between 13,000 and 15,000 people went. Most Canadian communities were well represented. Canada's involvement began automatically when Britain went to war. Canada, as part of the Empire, was then automatically at war.
Canadians arrived in Britain in October 1914, including Edmonton's 49th Battalion, led by General William Griesbaugh.
He was the commanding officer. He raised it. He went overseas. He commanded it until February of 1917, when he was promoted to Brigadier General, and he became commander of 1st Canadian Infantry Brigade.
This would be Major General Griesbaugh's formal wear, would it not?
It's a formal ceremonial uniform of a Major General, which was his retirement rank until he came back on active service in the Second World War. This would have probably been worn only on a few occasions. The gold cords there was the insignia of an aide-de-camp. I suspect it was worn by him when the King came to Edmonton in June of 1939.
A victory at Vimy Ridge in France was among Canada's successes in World War I.
It was the first time that the Canadian Corps, 4 divisions, upwards, as I say, of 60,000 men, fought together as a formation, attacked, and took the Germans off Vimy Ridge. It was an important victory in the sense of winning locally. It didn't really affect the course of the war any. If you want to go for the real Canadian contribution, the most significant one, I would say, was in the 100 Days campaign, which ended the war.
This is a Vickers machine gun. Canadians used that, huh?
Yes, Canadians used the Vickers from the First World War up until and during the Korean War. Very versatile weapon, water-cooled, fires a .303 rifle round, very accurate over long distances. Helmets started coming back in 1915. They'd been out of warfare for about 300 years for infantry, but they needed something because too many guys were getting killed by shots on the head.
These German helmets are kind of artistic.
This is beautiful. It's made of boiled leather, looks lovely, but you could pierce it with a pen.
Much to see at the old Armouries and Archives building, a marvelous collection of World War I and II artifacts. Most of this collection is quite rare, of course.
Well, we have 2 galleries. The Griesbaugh Gallery, which we're in at the moment, named after Major General Griesbaugh. What will they see? They'll see a variety of artifacts, objects that relate to the history of the Loyal Edmonton Regiment and some allied groups. Going back, our oldest object, I think, is from about 1845 of the British Army in India.
The Loyal Edmonton Regiment Museum is open weekdays 10 to 4 and Remembrance Day. Admission is free, though donations are appreciated.